Welcome back to the show. Check out these headlines here. We could see a half pump to $27. My goodness. And how about this? Jeremy Allaire says we're really close, and you're going to love what else he's got to say. And the Federal Reserve, ladies and gentlemen, is in trouble. And it may be in trouble with the Supreme Court. And Ripple has a new feature. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and digperspective.com for exclusive content right now. $2.23 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off by 4.9%. So as you can imagine, everything is falling like a manhole cover from the sky. Bitcoin, 57,300 plus, 3,100 plus for Ethereum, 111 billion plus market cap for Tether, down a little bit as well. USDC, $32.7 billion market cap plus, and XRP coming in at 44 cents right now. Now, I am down to the bottom of my cash, but I have got to, out of discipline, be able to, I don't know if it's $50. What am I doing? I don't know. Well, I see that. I got to do something. I don't know, sell a pair of sneakers. I don't know what I'm going to do. But we're off by 5.6 in the last 24 hours and off by 4.7 on the 7 days. So you can see most of the damage to the market has been in the last 24. Looking at the range of price very quickly here, ranging between 45 and 48 cents. I have got to see what's going on here. I cannot take this anymore. 1 second. All right, it wasn't much, but I had to take a second here and go get myself a little bag just out of discipline. It wasn't, I don't even want to embarrass myself, tell you how little bit it was, but that's just my discipline. I'm trying to do that, but I'm not telling anyone else to. It's not financial advice. But let's get started right here. There's a lot to go over, ladies and gentlemen. 98% of banks worldwide plan core system upgrade to accelerate digital transformation. So it begins. And basically what they're talking about here is exactly that. It is from a report from International Data Corporation, known as IDC. And it says here, 98% of banks are in fact planning to upgrade their core banking systems to accelerate the digital transformation within the next 3 years. So with that, I want to remind you of yesterday's news. XRP is ideal for international transfers, says a Sweden-based digital asset manager. And we know Virtun, which we covered here, a regulated digital asset manager in Sweden, announced the launch of its newest exchange-traded product, Virtun XRP ETP, on NASDAQ Stockholm. Now, what's interesting about this, now we did cover this news, but I wanted to show you this also. Smoke Dog found this and said, yes, Ripple and Swedish bank SEB are collaborating to build blockchain-based channel between New York and Stockholm. Now, I found this to be interesting because the Stockholm NASDAQ just said that it was good, XRP is good for international trade. So brace yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we've seen so many pilots. Where they are testing inside of their country, right? And now we're starting to see these pilots in connections from one region to another. And that is very exciting for me. All of this has been a phase-in operation. Next step of implementation. And I love seeing that. Now let's take a look at this. Ripple's got a new feature, ladies and gentlemen. Ripple has introduced the Try It feature for its payments API. Give Michael Branch a follow. The feature allows developers to test their technology without using real funds. It is currently available on Ripple Payments API, Smart Liquidation Service API, and Report Service API. This is super cool. Like, check this out here. This breaks it down pretty well right here. The interactive Try It feature is available on Ripple Payments API, Smart Liquidation Service API, and Report Service API. Reference documentation pages, can't speak today. The Try It option allows any reader to send simulated API requests to any endpoint and receive a response from a mock server without having to log in, provide authorization tokens, or transfer real funds. Try It offers a handy tool for API developers in different ways. Development team evaluating our technology solution can send API requests to a mock server to receive realistic responses without signing in or getting API credentials. Developers who are getting started on their integration journey can learn more about the API from the reference docs while quickly testing how a specific endpoint will respond without leaving a doc page they are on. So a very cool new feature being introduced there. Now let's take a listen here as Jeremy Allaire from Circle USDC tells us just how close we are at the most recent conference. Point Zero conference, I believe it's called. So take a listen to this and shout out to Subjective Views. Give them a follow.
We are really, really close to the UX, the user experience of using crypto infrastructure with legal electronic money where any person anywhere in the world can onboard as easily as you can onboard into WhatsApp, can have a fully secure direct custody digital wallet, and can directly transact with any counterparty anywhere in the world at a fraction of a cent, at the speed of the internet, and it's going to work, and it's going to be simple. We are right there. We are seeing the products that do this launch every week. There's new products. And so I think 2025 is going to be an extraordinary year for the proliferation of this. And I think almost all of the biggest e-wallets in the world are going to be plugging into this as
Fantastic.
well.
There you have it. But if you think that's something, because that was super bullish, and I love what he said, we are right at the edge of seeing the UX, the user experience, come into play. And it's coming a lot sooner than even that, because listen to what he says in this clip, ladies and gentlemen. The United States must act.
You said that by design, stablecoin will make the cost of money transfer zero or close to zero. Are you bullish on the regulators?
I am absolutely bullish on the regulators. This is a really big deal. You have the European Union, one of the biggest economies in the world. You have the most comprehensive crypto regulation that the world has seen, a huge body of work. And you have the prudential regulators at a kind of EU-wide level. You have very strong central bank regulators in France who have done the work to figure out how do you enable a global stablecoin like USDC.
There we have it. Now they're talking the language we all want to know. Global stablecoin is what USDC is. So, does that mean that XRP and XLM are not global stablecoins, or are these also considered global stablecoins as well? This is where I wonder if the road to the Supreme Court matters, because Judge Torres told us what XRP isn't. And will we have to go to the Supreme Court to find out what XRP actually is? This is so fascinating, but this is remarkable for USDC.
To function in the European market. That's a huge deal. USDC is now legal electronic money in the European Union. And EURC is also legal electronic money in the European Union.
Take some of that. Now, this is where I've been asking, hello, hey Ripple, when we launching the real USD? I love a good innovation race just as much as the next one, but it's going to take at least two. We need to get the real USD launched so we can start to compete for some of this market capture here. It's July 4th. Today would be a great day to make that announcement. Come on in. Then here's an update very quickly here from the SEC versus Ripple, coming by way of James Filan. Shout out to you, James. Thank you for all you do. The SEC has filed its response to Ripple's notice of supplemental authority regarding the recent Binance decision. Now, just to level set very quickly here, Ripple sent in a letter and said, hey, Judge Torres, we just wanted to remind you, great job on that. XRP in and of itself is not a security, because in the Binance case, Judge Jackson cited your ruling as legal precedent. And off we go to the races. That's being used. And they wanted to send that to the Judge Torres to let her know that your decision has been made precedent already. and that supports their argument and fight for the case there. The SEC basically wrote a letter back to that, basically saying, and I think Sherry broke this down quite well. She said the SEC translation is, Ripple stole a single report out of multiple on a motion to dismiss in Binance, which we do not agree with. Ripple arguing they weren't intentionally reckless is nonsense and they need to pay a lot. And honestly, that is a fantastic breakdown of what the SEC sent. Thank you, Sherry. It's fantastic. Jeremy Hogan chimes in and says, this type of avoidance pleading drives me crazy. Instead of addressing why it disagrees, the SEC just says we disagree without saying why, and then changes the subject. At least dream some argument up. That's literally all you learn to do in law school. Oh, needless to say, the SEC's up against it, right? I mean, there we go. And guess what? It's not over. Talk about up against it. This entire space is up against it. Hear from Eleanor Tarrant now. This is massive, and I want you to listen how big this could get. Oh, this could get so big. Former Solicitor General Paul Clement, who represented Loper Bright fishermen in the SCOTUS Chevron case, right? Which basically Supreme Court determined that the Chevron case judgment was overturned, and the agencies that are out here like the SEC and the EPA and others should not have all of this discretionary judgment because they've been using it for bad and for harm, right? So the overturning of that has now brought in this filing. So this gentleman, Paul Clement, former Solicitor General, has just filed an amicus brief on behalf of Custodia's Bank appeal versus the Federal Reserve. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Listen. Clement is fresh off his victory in overturning the Chevron deference. In his brief, raises the question of whether the Fed is violating Article 2 of the Constitution by allowing Fed presidents to make official decisions. This is a big deal for Custodia, which is looking for the courts to rein in the unfettered power of the nation's central bank, which recently denied Custodia's access to a master account. Clement states, in sum, by affording Federal Reserve Bank presidents significant and largely unconstrained discretionary power, the district court's decision raises serious constitutional questions under Article 2. And he's got the full brief there. You can find that on my profile on X. Shout out to Cody Carbone from the Digital Chamber here. He says they filed an amicus brief in support, as they did with Ripple case. They filed an amicus brief in support of Custodia Bank standing up against unconstitutional actions of the Federal Reserve in denying them a master account. Listen to what James Murphy, Meta Lawman, says here. He says, and when I say the stakes have been raised, what I mean is a ruling by the 10th Circuit that Federal Reserve System for appointing FRB presidents is unconstitutional would have a seismic impact on the entire United States bank regulatory structure. That's what he means. Think of this for a moment. You know what it makes me think of? Let me tell you what it makes me think of. Great post, James Metalall Man Murphy. There's something much bigger going on here. And that old narrative that everybody's been talking about that we need to set down isn't so old after all. The Federal Reserve is now being challenged at the Supreme Court level, is where this is going, by the gentleman who just overturned the Chevron doctrine, deference. Think of it. And if he overturns this from the Federal Reserve, what might that have in a way of implications to the financial system? Because as James Murphy just told us, this can impact the entire U.S. banking regulatory structure, ladies and gentlemen. And isn't that timely in the moment that we're in, that we're about to see the launch of the real USD, that for years we have been pondering that Ripple could in fact grow to become a new version of the Federal Reserve? I'm not suggesting that it is guaranteed to happen, but what I'm saying is the window is opening more and more to tell us that the old narrative isn't old at all, but in fact more relevant today than it ever has been, because the implications of a decision like this could alter the U.S. banking regulatory structure forever. And what might that opportunity bring to introduce into the financial system should we see such an impact and seismic shift? I'm glad we're here for it. Dark Defender says, our beloved XRP continues stimulating our nerve endings by staying below 46 cents. With the 2 consecutive candles in the last 4-hour time frame gaps, it says it's important to note that the volume is currently at a shallow level, indicating a lack of market activity. And this means that people don't want to buy and don't want to sell either, even though I just bought. XRP likes adventure and always tries to reach the limits where it stands at the final frontier, 39 cents. The chance of hitting here will be high if the upcoming candle closes below 46 cents as well. So the current price is based on shallow volume figures. The RSI indicator is at an oversold level, which you can see here and here. And we haven't yet found out exactly what's going to happen in the United States with legislation this year, but it's still possible that it gets through. And we still need to understand the full effects of USD Tether or not. So there we have that. But on the other side of the table here, from Eggrad Crypto, looking beyond the recent pullback and dip and test in the market here, XRP half pump to Fibonacci 1.618 takes half the pump of 2017, 2018. Just half of it puts us at $27 when this thing is deciding to set loose. And it may take legislation to get that done. It may take the launch of Ripple's stablecoin. It may take the case being over. It may take all of those things. But if we get half the pump that we've already seen before in 2017 to 2018, it's a $20+ XRP for us. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives, which, by the way, you can get in the Freedom Zone. Or you could join the DPMG and get the Freedom Zone for free. I know you can't keep up with everything, and the markets are moving quickly. But I tell you something, if you want to get the tools that you need, whether it's an investor checklist, portfolio creation, groups and courses to gap fill your knowledge in this space, or the groups and courses where we're learning right now how to use automated market makers on the XRP ledger. And it's a lot of fun. And look, the biggest part of this is the group itself. The group itself is, in fact, a mastermind. These are some of the brightest minds I've ever come in contact with, and that is not me just being hyped. That is the truth. There are brilliant people in this space and in this group. And if you want access to them and you want to be around people that also want to create and make a lot of wealth and learn how to maintain and protect it, this is the place to be. No doubt about it. Join us. As you see, click the digperspectives.com link and click the DPMG and get the Freedom Zone for free. Or if you're not ready, join the Freedom Zone for almost next to nothing and get the extra content and all the daily videos with 0 Google ads. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch all of you on the next one. Happy 4th.